Alright YouTube, today I'm going to show you how to engrave this project right here using a Dremel. It should be pretty fun and it should be pretty easy. So let's get right into it. The first thing I'm going to do with this design is I'm going to lay down some carbon paper and put my design on top of that paper. I'll trace over it with a pencil and this will transfer the design onto the piece of wood so I can take both these off and just engrave it. Once you got that traced, you can take off the paper and see how it looks. Alright, you can see that looks pretty good. That took me about 5 minutes and it'll save me a lot of effort when I go to engrave it. Today I'm going to be using the Dremel 100 with the Dremel Flex shaft. The Dremel Flex shaft is about the size of a magic marker and allows you to have more control over your rotary tool. And it just screws into the back of your Dremel. Alright, to start out, I'm going to start on the easiest part, which is always the straightest part. So I'm going to start right here, right along the back. I'm going to make sure to drag my Dremel and just try to follow that line. Should be pretty easy, and then once I get that done, I'll be kind of warmed up and then I can start doing the curves and just go all the way around the deer. Alright, and just like that, we are done with the engraving part. Our next step will be to paint where we just engraved. You can see right here on the foot, the rotary tool got away from me and I scratched the surface outside the lines. To avoid putting paint in this little thing, I'm going to use a brush and just make sure to work my way around that little scratch. If I do end up getting paint in that scratch, I'll just take sandpaper and sand it down until there's nothing you can see. Not a big deal, but if I can avoid it the first time, then I should try. Just a small little bottle of paint like this will do the trick. And just using a tiny brush, you can dab in the paint and then dab the paint on the lines. This paint also doesn't bleed through the wood quite as much as spray paint does, so it's a little bit easier to sand off. It just takes a little bit longer to put on than spray paint does. This project is unique because most videos on YouTube don't paint the lines white. White is a very difficult color to work with because when I'm done with this, I'll sand it over, and then if I want to stain the wood, that stain is going to also show on the white. And I'll show you what I do when I get to that point. After putting 3 coats of paint on it, you can sand it down. avoid getting stained where the white line is, I'm going to take a Q-tip and dip that into the stain. I'm then going to carefully go around the white line, making sure not to get any stain where that white is. And that's how you grow a wood deer from scratch. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.